there, creators. This week I have another bullet journal video, and it is a little late, of course, as is my usual. This is my September bullet journal, and I'm starting off painting the image that's going to go on the front. And what's great about doing these bullet journals, even if I don't fully keep up with them, it does get me to do an artwork, at least an artwork a month, that I can get out and put out. So, and that, if I don't even follow the bullet journal, at least I get the artwork out, And so in that way, it's actually been helpful. So this month I'm doing kind of a sewing theme and a sort of vintage sewing theme, not like old school sewing machines, like the really old ones, but I was thinking like something from like the 50s, a sewing machine you might see in the 50s. And of course, this isn't a real sewing machine. This isn't something that actually existed. It's just something I sort of made up. I used a lot of different reference photos of various sewing machines from the mid-century, and then sort of made up something along the way. So that little design in the middle part of the sewing machine next to the knob, that was just something I sort of made up. I had a design before that, but it kind of looked like the Vans logo, and I didn't realize that until I started to work on it. So I basically erased that drawing and went over it and sort of did a different sort of design, but it looked similar. But yeah, so anyway, for the background, well, actually for the what I'm using my Daniel Smith watercolors. And the paper is actually the B paper that we got in one of those Palettefull packs. And I will leave a card pop-up to that one. And speaking of Palettefull packs, I do have the August Palettefull packs video recorded and ready. I just haven't gotten it out yet. So hopefully I'll be able to do that soon. So anyway, I'm getting near the end of the painting of the sewing machine, and I kind of did a bit of an outline with it because I was sort of going for a kind of, I wouldn't say cartoony, but I wasn't going for realism, but yeah. So there is a bit of an outline around it. Yeah, and there's a nice texture to the background. Oh, and I did end up doing a design in the background that was like a almost like a plaid, yeah. And so with the white gel pen, and here I am. I'm kind of measuring out. It was like 1/2 inch grid that I sort of did, and I also like the grid look with the sewing machine theme because it kind of made me think of a cutting board, and so I did the light pink in there and then went over with white. And now we're actually at the bullet journal part where I'm just doing a lot of the outlines for the journal itself. And what I did with the box theme, is I put a pin through it. Basically, I drew a pin through it to look like it was kind of like fabric that was pinned to the paperwork. And so for the next month thing, I did a little swatch, drew a swatch of fabric basically. And so so this is basically a bunch of various sewing themed backgrounds, and right there I just realized that I accidentally messed up. I started writing the month, but I put it on the wrong square, and that was frustrating. So I ended up coloring over it with a brown marker, and I kind of liked how it looked. It kind of looked like corduroy. And then I figured at the end I would just go over it with a gel pen and put the correct dates in there. So, all right, I'm going to leave this to some music for a little bit, and then I will come back at the end, and I will go through and look at each page with you. All right, enjoy.
I want you to show me how to get to know someone like you. someone like you. I want you to know me, 'cause I know then you'll see we can be true, we can be true. I want you to see what I see in us, something so real, something so real. I want you to see that this is a love that we both feel, that we both feel. And how will we ever know if the love will ever grow without trying, without trying? And how will we ever see if we are meant to be? It's terrifying, it's terrifying. That we're meant to be. We're meant to be. That we're meant to be. We've both been there before. When a love shuts the door, it's a losing game. It's a losing game. But this time it's more than another lot of war. This ain't the same. This ain't the same. They say love heals all. It makes it all alright. In time. In time. My heart still feels the breaking, but you make my world so bright. It feels so right. It feels so right. And how will we ever feel that what we've got is real? There's no denying. There's no denying. And how will we ever see if we are meant to be? It's terrifying. It's terrifying. And how will we ever know if the love will ever grow without trying, without trying? And how will we ever see if we are meant to be? It's terrifying, it's terrifying. That we're meant to be. We're meant to be. That we're meant to be. We're meant to be.
Okay, so I've finished the September bullet journal. That's the word. And so let's look through that, and let's give a look through August's bullet journal first. So of course we saw July's, and if you want a more detailed look at July's, and you check out August's bullet journal video, and also July's. So August is here, and August was a kind of a steampunk feather theme. So I did that painting there of the feather, and there we go. You know, I didn't really use the brain dump. I did use the important dates and the notes. There were more important dates that I didn't fill out, but you know, that's okay. And so then the chores, I did a pretty good job with it. I wasn't really filling out everything, and water is there too. I probably had more water than that. I wasn't completely filling that out. And some of the weekly chores, I filled out some of them, but you know, I probably did this chore more often than I actually recorded. But I'm still going to keep with the chores chart for September. I didn't do any meditation. I really, I still want to keep that on because I want to keep reminding myself that I want to get back into that. And part of the issue this month was that I did get sick this month, so there were some points where I wasn't up to keeping up on things, So I was, diligently filling out my exercise chart. This last 2 weeks, I don't, I probably should put an exercise routine somewhere in here that I actually did, but this was the area where I was sick, and so I wasn't exercising every single day, and like I said, I wasn't really recording it. I did do most of the moods, obviously, as you can see, that the last week I didn't fill out, but that's okay. But that's, I've been enjoying filling out the moods, so we're going to keep up with that. I never recorded, basically this page wasn't used at all, but I'm still going to keep with a social media page because I need a brain dump for that. For my YouTube channels and things like that, and I would like to at least remember to record the subscriber count for my channels and for my Instagram and things like that. Uploads, I didn't really use it. Here, there, I did use it, but part of the reason was I haven't really uploaded much this month, and I would like to change that. So this month, I'm hoping that the uploads page will have more on it. Alright, and then of course the weekly page with the pockets. I really liked this setup. It worked for me. Obviously I didn't completely fill it out, but this week I really did. But yeah, so in general I enjoyed this setup, so I did the same thing this month. And basically everything's about the same for September. It's just a different theme, obviously. So now we're at September. So this month I went with a sewing theme. I think I had a different sort of theme in mind, but I couldn't remember what it was. And I have been doing a lot of sewing the last few weeks as my kids have been getting into school. I've had to make a lunch bag, and then my daughter had her doll, and I made those diapers for her. And I'll leave card pop-ups to those videos. So I was kind of in a sewing mind frame, frame of mind, and so I wanted to keep up with that, and I have this sewing paper, scrapbook paper that's like this pink and kind of a minty teal color, so I wanted to use those colors this month. And I sort of wanted to have a vintage looking sewing machine, but not like super vintage, not like a 1920s sewing machine, but more like 1950s, and that's why I put the, a random year on the artwork in 1953, because that's, I was thinking the 50s, and this isn't a real sewing machine. It was kind of a conglomeration of various sewing machines from that era, and I just went ahead and made up a sewing machine, and that was really fun, and I really love the way this turned out. I'll probably put a September somewhere on here, but yeah, so yeah, I really like that. And I'm not sure if you can see this, but I did sew on a lot of these pages on the edges, this zigzag stitch. Not sure if you can see that, but maybe we'll see it more on other pages. So just like, I haven't completely filled out the daily and weekly yet, but I've started it. And the fonts, the lettering that I was going for was something that was very like 1950s TV, something you would see on like, I don't know, like Bewitched or I Dream of Jeannie, some sort of interesting 1950s font, and that's sort of what I was going for there. So just like the other 2 months, we have a fold-out calendar here. That way, we can see the calendar no matter what page we're on. And you can see the zigzag stitch here. So brain dump, spools of thread, the October month here. For a lot of the labels, I went ahead and printed off. I used my label maker and printed off the labels that way and put them at the bottom there. So important dates, and if you see here, on September 22nd, my husband and I are celebrating our 15th wedding anniversary, so that's exciting. So the chores page was fun. So I did like a measuring tape for the dishes. I'm probably going to print off more labels to put in here because I was trying to use the gel pens, but they just didn't show up very well, and I don't like how they look. So I'll probably print off some labels from my label maker and replace that in there. So my dishes is a measuring tape. The sweeping chore is a zipper. And my 2 weekly chores, the bathroom and separating laundry, are buttons. So that worked there. And this was fun too. My water, instead of doing like I did the previous 2 months where I have just an open area where I can fill in water, I decided to do it 1 per day. And basically if I drink the right amount of water, or however much water I think is appropriate, I'll fill in the spot. Main goal is to drink water every day, which was something that was a big issue for me in the past, and now I'm doing a much better on. And yeah, so we got the meditation chart, and these are swatches, fabric swatches. They're not really fabric, but that's what I was trying to go for, and because of the streakiness of the markers, it does look like corduroy. At least to me, it looks like corduroy. So yeah, and you know, sewing, when you get fabric swatches, they have these, you know, zigzag edges. They use zigzag scissors, cut out little swatches, and that's what I was going for there. So the exercise chart is here. We're on September 4th right now, so I actually haven't really been exercising. And like I said, I was getting over a cold, so I am feeling better today, so I'll probably start getting back into the exercising and filling that out. So my moods page, I actually really love how this turned out. This was just a, you know, sewing machine, and all the buttons are the days that I can fill out. And then of course my color chart here is with the buttons, with actual buttons, not push buttons, but you know, sewing buttons. And this was from a stack pack of papers that I had, and I cut it down to size so that it would fit. And it is actually a pocket, so I could put whatever I want in there. And yeah, and I'm sure you can see right here down the side is a zigzag stitch. And we can see it continued on the next page. So this is my social media page. Basically the exact same thing from the previous month. I'm probably gonna write, you know, the symbol for each of my social media things up at the top, and then at the bottom I'll write, you know, the subscriber count or whatever I'm doing, and then having the open space to basically record what my plans are this month in regards to my social media. And my uploads page is here with a, you know, spools of thread decoration on the side. And the last page is the weekly again, and I did put the labels down here at the bottom. I love what I was doing with each thing, where I'm basically, it's like fabric that's pinned, you know, and yeah, I really like how that turned out. And these of course are pockets as well, so that's really cool. And I really like this month's bullet journal. Hopefully I can stick with it a bit more this month and I won't get sick again. And here's more zigzag stitches, and I actually did it on the bottom here. I wanted to do it on the bottom here as well, but it wouldn't fit, you know, this side wouldn't fit in the sewing machine. This side is mostly free, though I had to stop before it got to the edge because of the bumpiness of this. It wouldn't quite fit under the sewing machine, so I did stop a little bit before, and I couldn't do this side, so that's okay. I really like how this turned out. I will see you guys in the next video. Hope you enjoyed. Later, creators. Bye.